Black History feature today is Raymond St. Clair Nicholson. Minister of TEAT announces some changes for travel to the Dominican Republic. And Minister of Health gives update on the COVID-19 vaccination. Those are the headlines for Wednesday, February the 3rd, 2021. Good evening, viewers. This is SXM Daily News, and I'm Valerie Pupperton. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. And as usual, we have a full newscast for you, so let's get started. In our first story, the Minister of Health, the Honorable Richard Panafleck, speaking at the Council of Ministers' weekly press briefing this morning, gave an update of the COVID-19 vaccinations. According to the minister, the 4 countries of the Dutch Kingdom are working together in cooperation to execute the vaccination program. He elaborated further.
COVID-19 vaccination update. As has been communicated previously, the 4 countries of the Dutch Kingdom are working in cooperation to execute the vaccination program, sharing in the vaccines bought and provided by the Netherlands. As part of the total operation, in last week's press briefing, I communicated to the public that CPS and Public Health hosted a visit by the VWS team led by Dr. Mark Sprenger on behalf of the State Secretary Paul Blokhuizen of VWS. This visit was to assess St. Maarten readiness for the coronavirus COVID-19 vaccine and to lead a cold chain training for the professionals who will be involved in the COVID-19 vaccination campaign. A vaccine management team consisting of senior officials of VSA, non-governmental partners, has been established to prepare and implement the COVID-19 vaccination campaign with the support of a range of professionals. Activities included informing doctors about the administration of vaccine, providing a safe storage location, arranging transport and distribution of vaccinations. I can also say that community leaders, as of last night, also were informed and will continue being informed. The ministry is also developing a registration system for the COVID-19 vaccination program on St. Maarten. I'm happy to inform you that we have received confirmation that our COVID-19 vaccination plan has been verbally approved by the team for VWS and that the first shipment of biotech Pfizer vaccines will arrive at the Princess Juliana Airport on St. Maarten around February 15. This is good news for all people on St. Maarten, as we will enable us to protect ourselves against the COVID-19 virus. Getting out of this pandemic also means that we have the opportunity to restore our path towards social development and economic prosperity. We are aware of the fact that some of you wonder if the vaccines will be effective and safe to use. However, I can assure you that the vaccines has been rigorously tested by renowned testing institutes and laboratories in Europe and in the USA. The testing results on safety and effectiveness of the Pfizer vaccines have been very positive. If you are in doubt, I recommend that you have a conversation with your family doctor, read and watch vaccination-related messages and communication on official media such as the government St. Maarten's COVID-19 page, the CDC, the RIVM, the ECDC, or the WHO. The first phase of the campaign will focus on vaccinating all persons above the age of 60 and the frontline workers from the health frontline workers. Sorry about that. We have the ambition to vaccinate all adults above the age from 18 and above before the hurricane season of this year starts. With your understanding, cooperation, and support, we can make the upcoming vaccination campaign a success. As the public may be aware, there are currently new variants to the COVID-19 virus circulating around the world. 3 of these new variants have shown to be more infectious than the original COVID-19 strains and have originated from South Africa, Brazil, and the United Kingdom. If left uncontrolled, these new variants can lead to an exponential rise in hospital admission and death within a few weeks. If they are introduced to St. Martin, it will be severe impact on our health services and resources. The collective prevention services is closely monitoring the presence of the new COVID-19 variants on St. Martin. They are collaborating with St. Martin Laboratory Services to send weekly samples to RIVM in the Netherlands for genotyping. That means to see if the positive tests are of the new virus, any of the three. This may be a specific strain of COVID-19 virus can be determined. Among the first batch of 10 samples from COVID-19 patients from St. Martin that were sent last week, none of the new variants were detected. I continue to urge the general public to implement the public health measures of the wearing masks, keeping your distance, and frequently washing your hands. CPS increased its testing capacity and since January 11 have expanded testing to anyone who would like to be tested. To accommodate this increase in testing, CPS has adjusted its drive-through hours. During the week, testing will be available from 8:30 in the morning till 11 in the morning.
And in other news from the Council of Ministers meeting this morning, Minister of Justice, the Honorable Anna Richardson, gave an update on the status of the long-awaited function book, the reason that the Department of Immigration and Border Protection Services was closed, and the minister also spoke a little on the accident that occurred on Monday, February the 1st, 2020, in which she was involved.
I would like to give some updates with regards to the status of the function book for the Ministry of Justice. On December 22nd, 2020, the function book for the Ministry of Justice was handed over to the CCSU for review and advice. The CCSU was given 6 weeks to render their advice, which meant that the 6 weeks advisory period would have ended on February 2nd, 2021. However, on Thursday, January 27, 2021, a letter was sent to the lead of the group for the workbook, the function book, the work group, Mr. Lute Hackens, with further attention to me as Minister of Justice requesting an additional 4 weeks. It is important to note that the function book that is currently in the hands of the CCSU is not only for CAPSM, but it is that for the 9 departments within the Ministry of Justice. As such, with taking into account the Christmas holidays and the quantity of function books into consideration, I did not hesitate to grant the CCSU an additional 4 weeks as requested. The CCSU will then have until March 1st, 2021 to render their advice. A little update about the Department of Immigration and Border Protection Services, which we know was closed on Wednesday, January 27th, 2021, due to the positive or some positive cases of COVID-19. The 2 executive buildings at 80 Illage Road were all deep-cleaned last weekend on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. 5 members of our staff have tested positive, and a few of others after contact tracing have been placed in quarantine by CPS to monitor for symptoms. Yesterday, February 2nd, I, along with management, held a meeting with approximately 11 staff members who have tested negative and or are not a part of those who needed to be quarantined. IBP will resume operations on Monday, February 8th, 2021, with a limited service due to quite a number of the staff being out. However, the team that will resume on Monday has made a commitment that they will work to the best of their ability and with capable manpower to process applications in as a quickly manner as possible. We are in the process of launching a proper COVID policy for the workplace to better secure the staff and clients, with hopes to reduce these reoccurrences, as we are aware of the impact that it has on both the staff and our clients. I'd like to take this time to speak a little bit about the accident that occurred on Monday, February 1st, 2021. Firstly, thank you to those who called, messaged, and expressed concern and best wishes for both myself, or my person, and Mr. Wilson. I spoke to Mr. Wilson yesterday. He's doing fairly well, although he was experiencing some headaches and leg pain. So I arranged for him to be taken to St. Martin Medical Center for a second follow-up check. And they as well confirmed that he has no serious injuries. What he's experiencing now is expected because of his blood being cool again, etc. But we did arrange for him to visit his house doctor by the advisory of the medical center, so that he will be taken there today to continue checking up on him. But I just wanted to give a little insight about the accident. I know it has been magnified because I am a minister, but the reality is that the intersection as you're entering or wanting to turn into St. Peter's, which is where I was en route to, is a very dangerous one. I was able to obtain statistics from the traffic department at KPSM. It turns out that at least 5 accidents of the similar kind took place within the last 2 years. 3 occurred in 2019 and 2 in 2020.
And as we continue to honor our local Black heroes for Black History Month, today we will feature Raymond Sinclair Nicholson, and it is taken from Kenneth Cook's book, The Politicians Who Made a Difference, 50 Movers and Shakers. In 1965, Odds and Ends Welding Shop was opened by Raymond Nicholson. Nicholson was born in 1929 on St. Martin in the alley adjacent to the Oranus Hole. He later left St. Martin and moved to Aruba to complete his studies. There he got a job as a messenger boy at the Lago Oil refinery. By the time Raymond Nicholson was preparing to leave Aruba in the late 1960s, he had become a bookkeeper. Back on St. Martin, Nicholson met with Claude Watty and others at the Oasis restaurant, which was located then on the Kimshaw Beach in Simpson Bay, to discuss the establishment of a newspaper called the St. Martin Star. That project kicked off in 1971 with the aim of countering the literature that the opposition party circulated widely throughout the island. He served in the capacity of co-editor for that newspaper until 1977, when the company closed. In 1973, Nicholson married Hyacinth Lake of French St. Martin. Upon Claude Watty's request, he entered politics and contested the 1975 Island Council elections, where he garnered 55 votes. Thereafter, he was appointed to the Island Council and played key roles in giving land to families who needed homes. He also attempted to expand the St. Rose Hospital and helped in preventing its closure over a debt of 450,000 guilders. To save the hospital, 75,000 guilders was given by the Island Council, and the remainder was paid off on a monthly basis. Aside from his political responsibilities, Nicholson sponsored many baseball teams. On November 3, 1986, Raymond Sinclair Nicholson passed away after suffering a heart attack. He will always be remembered as a gifted and outspoken speaker, as well as a man who wanted all St. Martin citizens to be prosperous. And still to come, Minister of Education to make several adjustments to the truancy-related request processes. We'll have the details of that story and much more when SXM Daily News returns.
Hi, I'm Switch.
And I'm Save.
And together we're here
to tell you about WIB, Switch, and Save Mortgage Offer.
Now at WIB, you can save and benefit from great specials when you decide
to bring your mortgage to WIB.
When you switch, WIB will offer you
payment of penalty fees up to 3 months interest,
payment of notary fees,
waive of bank closing fees,
and also the lowest interest rate.
Plus, you'll have the chance to win back 1 year of interest payment.
Visit any of WIB's mortgage specialists and benefit from WIB's Switch and
Hey, that's my part. And Save Mortgage Offer.
WIB, your partner in progress.
Welcome back, viewers. You're watching SXM Daily News, and I'm Valerie from Putin. In some sad news, the island is still mourning the passing of local businessman and restaurateur Roger Petit, who passed away last week. Some of the restaurants that he owned included La Vie en Rose, the Frigate, and the Rumboat. He also had a perfume store, Le Printemps, on Front Street in the Promenade Arcade. President of the Collectivité, Mr. Daniel Gibbs, said that we are really saddened by this sad news. Saint-Martin has lost a figure of the island. Our thoughts and comfort are with his family. Roger Petit was an appreciated personality. He took part in the economic and tourist development of the island throughout his life. We salute his career and say goodbye to a local child who, through his love for Saint-Martin, proved himself to be a quick defender of the territory and a highly invested entrepreneur whose human and professional qualities were widely recognized. My thoughts are with the family of the Petit family today, with a special thought for the children. I share their grief and extend my unwavering support to them. On behalf of the elected representatives of the Territorial Council of Saint-Martin, the employees of the Collectivité, and on my own behalf, I extend my deepest condolences to the family of Roger Petit. We send them our compassion for overcoming this ordeal. Daniel Gibbs, President. We here at SXM Daily News also extend our condolences to the family and their friends of Roger Petit who are left to mourn. And in other news, as we continue now, as over 90% of our passengers are St. Martin residents from both sides of the island, Minister of TEAT, the Honorable Ludmila de Weaver, announced some changes for travel to the Dominican Republic. The minister gave a clarification.
I just had a brief announcement or clarification to update the public on today. Last week, with the advice that we received from the Netherlands, we had a travel ban that was put in effect. And this affected the Dominican Republic as well because of the fact that it is another hub to get to South American countries that were banned. What we have decided as an update today is considering that thanks to the information I received from the airlines that take our travelers between here and Dominican Republic, over 90% of our passengers are St. Martin residents from both sides of the island. And the changes that will go into effect is that the flights to the Dominican Republic can remain. The requirement will be that 72 hours PCR testing is required for all passengers, specifically our residents, who will no longer be able to test at Princess Juliana International Airport. And they will. We also made contact last year when we reopened the flights to the Dominican Republic. We made contact with labs, local labs in the Dominican Republic with the assistance of HCLS here and Dr. Faye that can perform this testing for us within 72 hours, making it possible for us to at least keep this very, very, very important leg and link to Dominican Republic open for future flights. The changes that will be revisited on February 12th is whether or not we will allow other passengers to travel on this flight. So as it now stands, St. Martin residents can travel back and forth to the Dominican Republic. As of February 12th, any other passengers that have not been in the banned countries for a period of 14 days will then be allowed to travel back to St. Martin. But we will be sending out a public announcement and further clarification on that today, as well as any updates that come next week once we know more about the variant being in the Dominican Republic. So I think that actually puts a lot of our residents and citizens at ease for having that leg open for the time being.
Meanwhile, Minister of Education, the Honorable Rodolphe Samuel, also speaking at the Council of Ministers' weekly press briefing about the inspectorate at the Division of Inspection, Education, Culture, Youth and Sports, has decided to make several adjustments to the truancy-related request processes, which went into effect on February the 1st, 2021.
To please be informed that the Inspectorate at the Division of Inspection of Education, Culture, Youth and Sports has decided to make the following adjustments effective February 1st to the truancy-related request processes. When a child will be absent from both face-to-face classes, as well as online classes, the parents, guardians must request an exemption. Exemptions requests can be made for the following reasons: medical appointments in connection with SFV, immigration matters, educational, cultural, and sport matters, relocation, and personal matters. To apply for an exemption for any of the aforementioned reasons, the parents or guardians must make contact with their child's school to request an exemption form. The school will issue a stamped signed exemption form to be submitted to the Division of Inspection for approval. The documents needed to support the exemption request are copy of the parents or the guardian's valid passport or ID, copy of the student's valid passport or ID, flight reservation, and please do not purchase the tickets until the exemption requests have been approved by the Division of Inspection of Education, Culture, and Sports. Invitations or death certificate, obituary, or any other document supporting the reason for request. Once all documentations have been received from the school in good order at the Division of Inspection of ECYS, the request will be processed and the response will be emailed back to the school to be delivered to the parent or guardian. It is important to take note that the Division of Inspection will not be receiving in-person requests at the office until further notice.
And in news out of the Netherlands at this time, support for the outgoing government's policy against the coronavirus is waning among Netherlands residents, according to a poll of over 2,500 Dutch by Hart van Nederland shortly after Prime Minister Mark Rutte presented the lockdown exit strategy in a press conference on Tuesday. Rutte said that a third wave of infections is inevitable, especially with the more contagious B.1.1.7 variant now causing most of the infections in the country. And so the lockdown will be in place for at least another month. On January the 12th, a small majority of 52% of Dutch residents said that they had confidence in the government's coronavirus policy. On Tuesday, that dropped to 46%. Young people under the age of 30 in particular have little confidence, with only 36% supporting Rutte and his cabinet's plans. On January the 12th, it was still 42%. People over the age of 50 have the most faith in the outgoing Rutte III cabinet, with 54% supporting the coronavirus policy, down from 61% on January the 12th. Despite the declining confidence, 70% said that they understand why the lockdown was extended, and 55% think that the curfew should also be extended until March. Now, turning to our weather forecast for February the 3rd, 2021. The Atlantic high pressure ridge is producing gentle to moderate winds across the region. Patches of low-level clouds transported across the local area is forecast to generate passing showers. Moderate to rough sea conditions are predicted to persist for the next several days. Seas up to 10 feet can be expected. Consequently, the small craft advisory and high surf advisory will remain in effect for St. Martin until further notice. Small craft operators and sea bathers should continue to exercise extreme caution. So the outlook through Friday midday, partly cloudy and breezy, becoming cloudy at times with isolated showers. Now let's turn to your 3-day forecast. And still to come, Oyster Bay Beach Resort meets Safe Seal COVID-19 prevention standards. I'll have a detail to that story when SXM Daily News returns.
The innovative Banco-Matico contactless smart card. Your Banco-Matico smart card is now equipped with a contactless feature for payments, so get ready to tap and go. Contactless payments are fast, easy, secure, and accepted worldwide at all Maestro-enabled contactless terminals. Tap for transactions equivalent to or less than 100 NAF, or the US dollar equivalent. You will receive notifications via email anytime you tap. Tap, tap, and pay fast with WIB. For more information, visit our website at wib-bank.net. Tap and go with your partner in progress.
Welcome back, viewers. You're watching SXM Daily News. And as we continue now with this local COVID-19 update, as of February 2nd, there were 15 persons who tested positive for COVID-19. However, 11 persons have recovered, bringing the total active cases to 148. The total number of confirmed cases is now 1,885. The Collective Prevention Services, CPS, are monitoring 147 people in home isolation. One patient is hospitalized at the St. Martin Medical Center. The total number of deaths due to COVID-19 remains at 27. The number of people recovered since the first case surfaced on St. Martin has increased to 1,710. 224 people are in quarantine based on contact tracing investigations carried out by CPS. The Ministry of Public Health, Social Development and Labor, VSA, the Airport Health Team, in collaboration with the Healthcare Laboratory St. Martin, HCLS, have tested 2,374 travelers arriving at the Princess Juliana International Airport, while CPS tested 14,399 people throughout the community. As the numbers continue to fluctuate, CPS will continue to actively execute its contact tracing measures. Minister of Health Richard Panafek would like to remind the general public of the necessary precautions to safeguard your health, that of your families and of our community. If you have flu-like symptoms, stay at home and call your family doctor. To control further spread of the coronavirus, wear a mask at all times when in public, practice 2 meters social distancing, sanitize and wash your hands frequently, and be cautious of large gatherings. And now, as we end this edition of SXM Daily News for this evening, Oyster Bay Resort received a Safe Seal recognition of best practices in protecting its customers against COVID-19. Safe Seal is the immediately recognizable emblem for companies that are verified that they adhere to strict cleanliness and hygiene guidelines to counter the COVID-19 pandemic. Oyster Bay Beach Resort has been actively taking preventive measures from an early stage in the pandemic. The resort was part of the St. Martin Hospitality and Trade Association, SHTA's, expert team preparing a draft reopening guideline document for the industry by comparing international best practices and CDC measures. Most suggestions from the industry's guidelines have been republished as government stipulations. Since spring, every employee and resort guest temperature are checked daily. Hand washing is part of their daily routine, as is the use of face masks when interacting with others and when social distancing cannot be maintained. High contact surfaces are cleaned regularly throughout the day. Visitors receive a temperature check on arrival, as well as personal protective equipment, PPE. Advanced check-in and express checkout have been instituted to help allow a seamless visit with a minimum of required physical contact. To share its adjusted daily practices publicly, Oyster Bay Resort created a short video clip that has been used by St. Martin representatives abroad to show how the island has put preventive measures in place, and it is downloadable at www.obbr.com. And with that, viewers, it brings us to the end of this edition of SXM Daily News for this evening. I am Valerie Van Putten. Thanking you so much for joining me. And just a reminder that this and other programs are available online. Simply log on to stmartinmediacenter.com for viewing. And on behalf of the SXM Daily News team, we thank you so much for watching and plan on meeting you right back here again tomorrow.